I wanted to discuss the three options for homeschooling in South Carolina and how they are similar and how they are different. So, with all three options, you do still have to cover those five required subject areas: the math, reading, writing, science, social studies, and then grades 7 through 12th. That reading and writing would change to literature and composition. So just the title changes. It would still be under the umbrella of language arts. You don't add them to the list. Um, those are the same. The 180 learning days, and then you do have to still maintain the same educational records, the lesson plan, the work samples, the attendance, and the semi-annual reports. So those are the similarities with all three options, but they do differ. So how they differ is option 1 is through your local school district, and it requires a minimum amount of hours per day for school. That minimum amount of hours is 4.5 hours per day. And then option 1 also does require state testing starting in third grade. So if you wanted to homeschool under option 1 under the direction of the school district to get started, you would have to contact your local school district and submit an action plan. So you would have to plan out your entire year, submit it to the district, and they would approve it and approve you to be ready to homeschool. So that's option 1. Option 2 is through a specific association called the South Carolina Association of Independent Homeschools. This option can get a little expensive for families, especially with multiple students, and it does require standardized testing starting in third grade, but it's every other year. With this option, some families choose it because they do get, there's a building that you can go to with resources, you can get access to a guidance counselor, and they just choose it. They feel that they get more support, there's a little bit more direction over them and accountability. Now, with option 3, it is the most flexible. You have the most freedom, and a lot of families choose that because of the flexibility and freedom. So, with option 3, families do join an association, and there are a lot of associations in South Carolina. The list of associations is on the South Carolina DOE's website. So these associations have to meet the requirements. So one of the requirements is they have to have at least 50 members. The associations every January submit those numbers and certify that we do have 50 members. And then we also send our number of homeschooling students to the superintendents. With option 3 and the associations, the list is quite long. I think there's about 7 or 9 pages at this point, and each association has something different to offer. We're not all the same. When I first started homeschooling my child when he was entering kindergarten, I thought, I'm just going to pick one off the list. And I found that going through my journey, there's a lot of different variations. So there's secular homeschool associations, there's inclusive ones, then there's Christian and religious ones. So that's something to consider. When I talk to families, I suggest looking over the list of associations on the South Carolina Department of Education's website. Go through them, see what they have to offer, see how they differ, and find one that fits your family's needs and what you want. Some families just want an association to keep them legal, and that's totally fine. That's our job. By law, we are keeping your homeschooling legal. Some families want more support. Not all associations offer transcript assistance, for example. Legally, we don't have to. Some families choose to pick one association during their elementary and middle school years that don't offer transcript service, and then when they get to high school, they choose one that does. And you can change. That's totally fine. You can also change mid-year. If you pick one that's not fitting your needs and you're not happy, you can withdraw and find a different association. So that's some things to consider with option 3, how to get started. Once you join an association that fits your needs and offers what you would like, you submit an application on their website, wait for them to send you your membership letter. Once you receive your membership letter, you can submit that to your local school district. Some associations do offer to send it for you. Some do it automatically to officially withdraw from the public school system or private school if you're coming from private school. One thing to keep in mind if you do have the association send it on your behalf is each school district and individual school varies on their withdrawal policies. So, being an former administrator, when I was doing a withdrawal, I still had to have the parent come and sign the student's file that they were withdrawing, information of where they were going, and where I can send a copy of the student's records. So that's something to keep in mind. Any books or supplies that you got from the school would have to be returned, any Chromebooks, any textbooks. So you're still going to have to make contact with the school. And then once you get your membership letter from the association, you can start homeschooling. You're covered legally. So you don't have to wait to be officially withdrawn from the public school. I tell my families once they get their membership letter, you can start counting your days. With withdrawing, one of the things to also keep in mind is you, the parent or guardian, is now the official record keeper per South Carolina Code of Law. So the records don't have to go to your association. They can actually just be handed over to you. Some schools do vary and do want a records request from the association, and they'll want to send the records to the association, and then the association would have to forward it to the parent or guardian. But that is individual to each school. So that is an overview of options 1, 2, and 3 with homeschooling in South Carolina. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, comment below, and I'm happy to help.